Hello guys, this is Xavier. Welcome you back, well, to a new deck profile, of course. In the last one, we went through Variant Chaos. I should just point out right now, this is not a Let's Play design at all. It's just me going over deck profiles of my custom decks. So if you guys don't understand that, then too bad. I might be able to show some duels with this deck. Possibly, maybe, but enough about that. Let's get straight to it. I have 3 copies of Malicious Swordsman. Now, what he does is actually quite simple. If you read the battle against Chaotic, if you looked at Variant Hunter Alpha's, his fanfiction profile, I got the idea for this monster from him, where he had a malicious Lord Charman, I believe his name is. This basically, when I'm normal summon or special summon it, I can special summon the other 2 copies and boost their levels to 12. So, I can special summon the other 2 copies from my hand, deck, or graveyard, and then they all boost level 12. And then I have 2 Serpents, which basically if I control another malicious card, I can special summon it from my hand and then boost the levels of all my monsters equal to it. And then I have 3 Malicious Enforcer, which is basically like your Star Seraph Scout, where it brings out more reinforcements. I have 3 of those where I can when it's normal or special summon, special summon 1 malicious monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And then we have, I'm not 100% sure if there's 2 copies of this. I'm pretty sure there's only 2 copies of Malicious Knight. When this card is normal or special summon, add 1 malicious card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Quite simple. We have 3 Malicious Wall, where when I'm being attacked directly, or when you are being attacked directly, special summon this card from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and face up defense position, negate the attack, and end the battle phase. So it's basically like a level 4 battle fader, if you want to call it that. And then I have the other 2 swordsmen. These are like your will-o-wisps. Well, these aren't really your will-o-wisps. There's a monster in here that is similar to a will-o-wisp. There's 2 copies of Malicious Doppelganger. It basically, well, based on its name, it copies the name, level, attack, and defense of 1 malicious monster on my field or graveyard, or banished zone, so it doesn't matter where. And then I have 2 copies of Malicious Shadow Mist, which is basically your Umbra Horror Will-o-Wisp in this deck. It's a level 1. When this card is normal or special summoned, change this card's level to equal the level of the highest level of a malicious monster card on your field. If this card is sent to the graveyard, destroyed by battle, card effect, doesn't matter how. Special summon another Malicious Shadow Mist and use that monster as an Xyz material for an Xyz summon with the highest level monster on your field, regardless of whose turn it is. So that means I can Xyz summon during the opponent's turn as well. I think that is every single monster, unless I run into a different monster in here. I think that's everything. Oh, here's one more. 2 copies of Malicious Bulldog, which is basically, what do you want to call it? I swear I have 2 copies of this. Where's the other copy? I want to go off of that. Oh, here it is. Here's Bulldog. Basically what he does, when his card is special summon via the effect of a malicious card, so like Enforcer, draw 1 card. And if it's a malicious monster, special summon it and make it the same level as this card, then your opponent takes damage equal to the attack of the monster that was special summoned by this effect. So that means if I draw a monster card, you take damage equal to its attack, essentially. That's basically what it does. Nothing like too OP. Trust me, the extra deck is more OP than these cards. Now we're done with that, we'll go with the spells. And yes, I could start with the first spell that's already at the bottom of the deck and work backwards, but I'm not that type of person. Okay, here we have the field spell. Again, this deck idea was because of Dawn 1000, so If I have some main deck or extra deck cards that are OP, Flame Dawn 1000. This card can't be it's a field spell. This card can't be destroyed by card effects as long as you control another face-up malicious card. Now, if this is the only card in my field, I can't save it from destruction, so it can be negated though. After that, you can't Dust Tornado or MST it if there's another malicious card. So most likely, I'm gonna summon a monster first. Let's just say it's my first turn. Then I activate Network, and all malicious cards you control cannot be targeted, be destroyed by card effects, or be banished except by their own effects. And there is an Exceed monster that does banish everything on the field. Once per turn, you can Exceed summon one malicious Exceed monster using monsters from your hand or graveyard as the Exceed materials. When this card is destroyed, you can put it back into the deck instead or banish it. And the effects above can be used from the banished zone. So, kind of OP, as long as if you can pull that off, it is kind of broken. But enough about that. I think I have 2 of the networks, 2 malicious rank up, which is basically your dark version of Astral Force. That's a continuous spell. And once per turn, you can target one malicious Exceed monster on your field or in the graveyard, rank that monster up by 2 ranks. If this card would be destroyed or banished, you can detach one Exceed material from a malicious Exceed monster instead. So, 2 copies of those, 2 malicious Storm, which is basically similar to Numeron Storm. Activate only if you control a malicious card. Doesn't matter if it's a monster, spell, trap. It has to be face up though. Destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls, and deal them 500 points of damage for each one destroyed. So yeah. And I won't go over the next field. The next card, there's another network. Obviously, you can't see that, but it doesn't really matter. Again, I think I said I'm sorry for not actually putting videos up. It's just because of other stuff that got in the way. Now, here's Malicious Calling, and yes, the picture is Dawn 1000. I couldn't find anything better for this, and it kind of suits the spell card. Malicious Calling, which is basically like a malicious direct, I guess you could say. Basically what this does, I can summon negative numbers 1 through 4 from my extra deck or graveyard in face-up attack position. That's all it does, nothing special. I have 2 of those just in case one is negated. Let me go find that spell card that was going to show earlier, because this card needs to be shown first before you understand what this card is. Malicious Chaos Ritual, which is basically, again, Numeron Chaos Ritual, but with a different name. When a number C negative number 1, Gate of Hell, yes, Gates of Hell, Pits of Chaos was destroyed this turn or last turn, you can use a malicious network from your deck or banish zone and 4 malicious monsters from your graveyard, or use negative numbers 1 through 4 as level 12 monsters and use those monsters to Exceed summon only. Now you'll understand what that card does later. I believe I have 2 more spells. I believe. Yes. And I have 2 Malicious Blast. I think there was a card called Evil Blast. That's a trap that the Supreme King used from the anime. This card, Malicious Blast, is a quick play spell card. Activate the card during your opponent's draw phase. For every card in your opponent's hand, they take 500 points of damage. You can banish this card from your graveyard during either player's draw phase to inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent for each card in their hand. So you can use it twice, essentially, but you can banish it from your graveyard to inflict damage, or you can well, you get the point. Traps. I have 2 or 3 copies of Malicious Shadow Generator. Activate when you control a malicious monster. This card becomes the same level as a malicious monster on your field, so it's basically a trap monster. Even though it doesn't look like it is, it is. 2 Malicious Break, so it's similar to... Oh, what is this similar to? I think there's a counter trap that inflicts damage to your opponent when they activate a card effect. When your opponent activates a card effect, negate that card effect, then inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. I swear I have a trap card we're at the ditch, whatever. I have 2 of those, and then I have, I think, 3 Malicious Shadow Stream. I could be wrong, which is kind of ironic because I should know how many copies of what cards I have in here, but I don't. I think on this counter I was supposed to put discard, but it doesn't say that. I have 2 Shadow Stream, which is another counter trap, where activate only when your opponent activates a card effect, negate that card effect, and then special summon one malicious Xyz monster or malicious malicious Xyz monster in your deck or graveyard, and if it wasn't a Xyz monster, attach this card to it as a face-up Xyz material. So it's like, are you gonna use that Dark Hole? No, I don't think so. 2 malicious shadow, I almost said Shadow Shield. 2 malicious shield. This is basically like your I'm gonna defend myself trap, where if I take damage either by battle or by card effect, negate the damage. As long as this card is face up on the field, you take no damage. And then we have a card to heal yourself in case your life points go down. It's a trap, malicious life. Target 1 monster on your opponent's field. Gain LP equal to that monster's attack points. Oh, I have 3 Shadow Stream. Never mind. And there's my other malicious break. Shot generator. I think that's everything for traps. Unless I somehow find another trap card in here, which, no, I did not. That is every single trap. That's main deck. Now on to the broken OP extra deck, if you want to call it that. 1 Fiend, which I already explained in the previous video, so if you don't know what it does, I guess I could redo it. This card can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Whereas, when I attack an Xyz monster, you take the damage instead of me. So it's like a Chaos number 96. No, it's more like a number 92 at first. And then when I'm attacking a non-Xyz monster, both of us take damage. So it's like a combination of number 92 Hard Earth Dragon and Chaos number 96 Dark Storm. And then I can detach 1 overlay unit, 1 Xyz material as a special summon another Xyz material, and attach the Xyz material detached from this previously onto that monster. And if it's a number C, I think it has to be a number C monster. And then that overlay, then that Xyz material gets treated as if it was the number card that was used to summon it. And then we have 1 Priest. Again, if you didn't watch the previous video, I'll go over it again. This card can't die from battle. Again, if you've seen Revelations of the Xavier Calcos episode 10, you would know or 15, you would know Mayrias King can't die from battle. It's a level 6 with 0 attack and defense. The only thing that Lofrock's about to worry about is piercing damage. Because, okay, why am I talking about Revelations? We should just talk about this card. It's basically similar to Mayrias King, but it actually has attack and defense. So I can detach 1 Xyz material to either A or 1, target 1 card in the field, destroy it, so I can target itself and blow it up, so I can summon out the Zero God from the previous video, which I will go over again, in case people weren't watching the last video, or they got too bored from it, or they just didn't feel like it at all. Or 2, I can draw 1 card, or 3, add 1 card from your deck, or graveyard to your hand. So I guess that's like a good searcher or whatever, or like a good draw power. And then we have the Zero God, which if the priest dies via effect or whatever, via the effect of effect, when this is summoned, opponent's field is blown up. They'll have no cards. They're not going to attack for 5,000 damage. Yada yada yada. Now I'll get to the Malicious Xyz monsters, because I'm pretty sure Baron Chaos is like OP when I'm not. Malicious Banishment Warrior, I run 2 copies of it. And by the way, this extra deck is over 15. Just like the previous one. I think it's like 14 or whatever. Again, this extra deck is like way over 15, but who cares? The anime, they use more than 15 extra decks, so whatever. Then after this, we'll get to a legit deck. Well, it's not really legit, it's somewhat legit. Anyway, when this monster is Xyz summoned, I can banish every card on the field except itself and Malicious Network. And basically you have to treat it like a swords, because swords, the opponent can't attack for 3 turns. Those cards that were banished, along with your own cards, unless you save your rank up, so you can rank this thing up. After a certain number of turns equal to the number of exceeds materials this thing had beforehand, that's how long the cards are going to be banished for. And it affects you too, which is bad, but if you don't care about, unless you're using like a different dimension deck against this thing, then you won't care. Because you want your cards to be banished. Because it's different dimension, and then you get like so many LP because of soul absorption. And then once per turn I can target 1 card in the field by detaching exceeds material, banish that target until the next turn. Then we have 2 copies of the rank 6 Malicious Guardian of the Underworld, which is a fairy, which is odd. 2 level 6 Malicious Monsters. Some of these you can't actually exceed summon normally, because, well, I don't have any level 10s in here. This card can also be exceed summoned via the effect of Malicious Rank Up. Means cards exceed summoned, blow up the field. Yeah, that's kind of OP. I'm going to make it, like, as an option, because I think there are some cards where it's an option, where you don't have to do it. So that's what I'll do. You can just look at that copy. Once per turn during the opponent's turn, I can detach 1 exceeding material in order to protect. Like, it's basically a shield. It protects all my cards by detaching. And then we have 2 general, which is basically your Xyz reviver. Because basically, since there's going to be mostly Xyz monsters on this, you can detach that, then bring it back. But it won't have any Xyz materials. This card can also be exceeded summoned via the effect using Malicious Finger. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material. On this, 2 special summon 1 Malicious Xyz monster from your graveyard, and attach the Xyz material that was detached from this card to as a face of Xyz material. So it's basically I'm gonna get my effects back, but it has to be malicious. And then we have the rank 10 Malicious Queen. 2 copies. It's a fairy dark rank 10. This card can also be I'm not gonna say malicious rank up. It can also be exceed summoned by that every single time because you'll probably get bored of it. Let's just skip to the point where I get to use the effect. This card can't be destroyed by card effect as long as it has an exceed material. Once per turn, you can detach 1 exceed from this card to return 1 card from your graveyard back to your deck, and then your deck is shuffled. Even though it doesn't say so, I would shuffle it anyway. Then we have 2 Malicious King, which is basically your rank 12. It does the same thing as the rank 6 that blows up the field, but after the cards are destroyed, I think it blows up the opponent's field just like the Zero God. But instead of the cards just being blown up, they all get attached onto this monster as Xyz materials. It's the king. Of course it's going to have an OP effect. When this card is destroy all cards on the opponent's field, then attach all cards destroyed by this effect. As face up Xyz materials to this card. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material to special summon 1 malicious monster or malicious Xyz from your graveyard. Its effects are negated. So I guess that'd be good, like if you have a malicious Xyz monster in your graveyard and it's a lower rank, you could just bring it back, negate its effects, and then have it rank up, and then the new form will have Xyz material. And now we're going to get to negative number 1, which I haven't even gone over these. Basically, negative number 1, Gate of Hell, Pits of Fire. Well, if you think about negative numbers, think about the positive numbers and what they actually do on humans. Just think about what a negative number would do. It would give you dark thoughts, it would give you mass murder like Vector, so Vector would pretty much use these most of the time. I am not going to read this because I'll just read negative number 2 instead. I'll go over this one later. Negative number 2, Gate of Hell, Door of Chaos. Negative numbers 1 through 4 have the same effect. They have 2,000 attack and 4,500 defense. I think that's kind of a little strange for a rank 4, but they're gates. They're supposed to be defensive. This monster can't be destroyed by or cards, nor can be targeted by card effects. Once per turn during a player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz from this card. To activate one of the following effects, you can special summon Burn Chaos Xyz monster from your extra deck or graveyard. When you do, its attack and defense are doubled until the next turn. You can detach one exceeding to double this card's attack and defense until the end phase of your opponent's next turn, which that's the effect I'm most likely going to use. But now I've gone over that. I'm not going to go over negatives numbers 3 and 4, because they have the same effect as negative numbers 1 and 2. Chaos, negative number 1. Give Hell Pits of Chaos, which is what was mentioned on Malicious Chaos Ritual. This card can also be exceeded when your life points are lower than your opponent's. This card can't be destroyed by card effects, nor can be banished. Can't be banished. So like no Deep Prison, no Mirror Force can get rid of this thing. If this monster has negative number 1 Gate of Hell Pits of Fire as an exceeds material, it gains its effect. Once per turn, you can detach one exceeds material to destroy any number of cards your opponent controls equal to the number of Baron Chaos monsters that reside on your field or graveyard. But there's not many Baron Chaos cards in this deck. There's only like 2. So I can only destroy 2 cards at a time. So it requires 3 level 5 dark monsters, and this requires 2 level 4 dark. So yeah, I should have gone over like what monsters you need for it, but oh well. And then negative numbers 3 and 4 have the same effect. Now we're gonna get to the craziness of this deck. Negative Chaos, negative number 1000 Malicious Giant. Basically, if you take the Numeron Network and the Numeron Revision cards and combine it into one monster, that's what you get with this. And it's not once per turn. I can do it until I run out of overlay units. And that's not all. It has 10,000 attack. 10,000 attack and 1,000 defense. I should have given it more attack and more defense, so it could be like 10 times greater than the attack and defense of these monsters. But what's... Okay, 10 times of this would be 200,000? No. 20,000, and then 14,500 defense. That's what I should have done this thing. But I didn't. I just followed. And I have 2 copies of this, just cause. This card it requires 5 level 12 monsters. Like, you can exceed summon it via the effect of the Swordsman's plus the Shadow Mist. So... plus 2 Shadow Mist, I should say. And maybe 1 Doppelganger. You can exceed some of this normally. You don't need to use the Chaos. Well, actually, yes you do. This card can only be exceed summoned via the effect of Malicious Chaos Ritual and cannot be summoned by other ways except by the effect of a malicious card. This card's summon can't be negated, so that's kind of broken. It's a rank 12 with 10,000 attack. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's what the 10k means if people don't know what that is. Where am I? When your opponent activates a card effect, detach one exceeding from this card to negate that card and destroy it. Then choose one other appropriate card your opponent can use in their deck. If there is a number C, if basically when this thing dies, if there is a number CI, if there's a number C negative if there's a number CI negative number 1000, Chaos Imaginary number 1000, Malicious Shadow Chaos in your graveyard, when this card is destroyed, use this monster Okay, the last part of the effect doesn't make any sense, but basically when this thing is destroyed, I can bring out the imaginary form, which I'm going to go over right now. And it's called Chaos Imaginary, negative number 1000, Malicious Dart of Chaos. 6 level 12 monsters, again, impossible unless you're using the Orichalcos with this deck, which you could, but your monsters wouldn't be spared from agony and destruction. This monster has 100k attack and defense. It's basically a darker version of Numerois Numeronia. When a number C, negative number 1000, Malicious Giant is destroyed or banished, you can use that monster as an exceeding material to summon this card, then attach all the exceeding materials from Chaos negative number 1000. To this card, this card summon can't be negated. This card can't be destroyed by card effects, nor can it be banished as long as it has an exceed material. This card gains attack equal to the attack of a destroyed monster that resides in either player's graveyard. When this card is under attack, you can detach one exceed material from this card to negate the attack, then gain life points equal to this card's attack. If there is a number C negative number, if there is a Chaos negative number 1000 Malicious Giant in your graveyard, when this card is destroyed, special summon that target. So basically, it's just an endless loop after this card is destroyed. So yeah, I guess you could say that's broken, but I don't really care. I might put up challenges for this deck, like if anyone wanted to take a challenge, by all means, I guess. Or you could send me your custom deck profiles and I could take a look at them. I'm not going to guarantee anything. I mean, again, sorry for not updating or putting any videos up. I mean, I did put that one video up, but I don't know. I'm just busy with school and everything, so yeah, if you want to blame someone, blame the school. That's the end of that deck profile. I'll see you guys in the next one, which will be the last one for today. See you guys then.